dear students. In our last session, we have already learned about the importance of plants in biosphere. Plants are the protectors of biosphere. Plants play a major role in the existence of life on earth because they provide both oxygen and energy to us. In addition, plants can regulate oxygen and carbon dioxide level in atmosphere, isn't it? You have already discussed about the global warming, the reasons of global warming, its effects and the remedial measures also. Did you complete your homeworks? Did you complete the poster also? നിങ്ങൾ തയ്യാറാക്കിയ നോട്ട്സും പോസ്റ്ററും നിങ്ങളുടെ സയൻസ് ടീച്ചർക്ക് അയച്ചു കൊടുത്താണോ അല്ലേ? ഇവ വൃത്തിയായി സയൻസ് ഡയറിയിൽ സൂക്ഷിക്കാനും മറക്കരുത്. Now we are going to a new session. It is about photosynthesis. Do you know the definition of photosynthesis? Yes, photosynthesis is the process by which plants produce their food. You may know the factors needed for this. Which are the factors needed for photosynthesis? They are carbon dioxide, water and minerals, sunlight and chloroplast. From where they get these factors? We know that carbon dioxide is present in atmosphere. It is absorbed by plants through stomata. Plants absorb carbon dioxide and utilized for photosynthesis. Similarly, water and minerals from the soil is absorbed by roots. From the roots, it reaches throughout the parts of plant through the conducting cells, that is xylem. Xylem എന്ന സംവഹന കലകളിലൂടെ ഇവ സസ്യങ്ങളുടെ വിവിധ ഭാഗങ്ങളിലേക്ക് എത്തുന്നു. Then plants can absorb sunlight. They absorb sunlight with the help of some pigments present in it. And chloroplast, it is also one of the important factors needed for photosynthesis. You know, plants absorb minerals from the soil. It is utilized for the normal functioning of chloroplast and the relevant processes. പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണത്തിലെ ധാതുലവണങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള പ്രാധാന്യം നിങ്ങൾ വലിയ ക്ലാസ്സുകളിൽ പഠിക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും. Have you noticed the figure that is given in your textbook? What is Tara's doubt? Why the upper part of leaf is more greener than lower part? ഇലകളിൽ മുകൾ ഭാഗം കൂടുതൽ പച്ച നിറത്തിൽ കാണപ്പെടുന്നത് എന്തുകൊണ്ട്? Did you think about this? What is the reason? Can you see this leaf? This is the upper part and this is the lower part. Can you observe the color change here? The upper part is more greener than this lower part. What is the reason? Let us observe a section of leaf. In this section, we can see that an upper epidermis and lower epidermis. മുകളിലെ ഉപരിവൃതിയും താഴത്തെ ഉപരിവൃതിയും. In between these epidermal tissues, you can see the mesophyll cells and conducting tissues. Mesophyll കോശങ്ങളും സംവഹന കലകളും. You know the conducting tissues are xylem and phloem. Chloroplasts are seen on mesophyll cells. The mesophyll cells just below the upper epidermis are compactly arranged. മുകളിലെ ഉപരിവൃത്തിക്ക് തൊട്ട് താഴെയായി കൂടുതൽ mesophyll കോശങ്ങളെ കാണപ്പെടുന്നു. Hence it includes more chloroplasts. That is why the upper part of the leaf is more greener than lower part. Is it clear? You know, chloroplast is one of the important factors needed for photosynthesis. It gives green color to plants. Photosynthesis takes place mainly on leaves. An average of 5 lakhs of chloroplasts present in 1 square millimeter of leaf. In addition, you know that the upper part of leaf contain more chloroplast than lower part. Then you are going to study about the structure of chloroplast. Does its structure is suitable for photosynthesis? ക്ലോറോപ്ലാസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ ഘടന പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണത്തിന് അനുയോജ്യമാണോ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. Let us observe its picture. What is the shape of chloroplast? It is almost oval in shape. It is a cell organelle with a double layered membrane. ഇരട്ട സ്തരമുള്ള ഒരു കോശാംഗമാണ് ക്ലോറോപ്ലാസ്റ്റ്. It has an outer membrane and an inner membrane. Inside this membrane, you can see that a fluid-filled part that is called stroma. So, it is a cell organelle with a double-layered membrane. Inside this membrane, there is a fluid-filled part that is called stroma. ഇരട്ട സ്തരത്തിനുള്ളിൽ ദ്രാവകം നിറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഭാഗമാണ് സ്ട്രോമ എന്ന് അറിയപ്പെടുന്നത്. While observing this picture, you can see that numerous membranous sacs, ധാരാളം സ്തരസഞ്ചികളെ നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. These membranous sacs are arranged one above another. ഒന്നിനു മുകളിൽ ഒന്നായി അടുക്കി വെച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. These membranous sacs together we call grana. This is the third part. Once again, it is a double-layered membrane and there is stroma and third part that is grana. We know that plants can absorb light. Plants absorb light with the help of some pigments. These pigments present in grana. സസ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് സൂര്യപ്രകാശത്തെ നേരിട്ട് വലിച്ചെടുക്കാൻ സഹായിക്കുന്ന പിഗ്മെൻറ്റ്സ് കാണപ്പെടുന്നത് ഗ്രാനയിലാണ്. Which are the pigments present in grana? Pigments like chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotene and xanthophyll. It is present in grana. So, which are the pigments present in grana? They are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotene and xanthophyll. You may know the color of the pigments also. What is the color of chlorophyll A? Chlorophyll A has bluish green in color. നീല കലർന്ന പച്ച നിറമാണ് ക്ലോറോഫിൽ എയ്ക്കുള്ളത്. Then what about the chlorophyll B? It has yellowish green in color. ക്ലോറോഫിൽ ബിക്ക് മഞ്ഞ കലർന്ന പച്ച നിറമാണുള്ളത്. Carotene is yellowish orange in color. മഞ്ഞ കലർന്ന ഓറഞ്ച് നിറമാണ് കരോട്ടിനുള്ളത്. Xanthophyll is yellow in color. You know, plants can absorb sunlight. All pigments can absorb sunlight. But only chlorophyll A can directly participate in photosynthesis. The remaining pigments absorb sunlight and transfer it to chlorophyll A. ക്ലോറോഫിൽ എയ്ക്ക് മാത്രമേ പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണത്തിൽ നേരിട്ട് പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. മറ്റു വർണ്ണകങ്ങൾ സൂര്യപ്രകാശത്തെ ആഗിരണം ചെയ്ത് ക്ലോറോഫിൽ എയ്ക്ക് കൈമാറ്റം ചെയ്യപ്പെടുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ദീസ് പിഗ്മെൻറ്റ്സ് എക്സെപ്റ്റ് ക്ലോറോഫിൽ എ ആർ കോൾഡ് ആക്സസറി പിഗ്മെൻറ്റ്സ്. So which are the accessory pigments? They are chlorophyll B, carotene and xanthophyll. They are called accessory pigments because they cannot directly participate in photosynthesis, but they absorb light and transfer to chlorophyll A. Is it clear? Then you read the indicators that is given in your textbook. It is about the structure of chloroplast, the parts, the pigments present in chloroplast and the role of pigments. You must prepare a short note about chloroplast based on these indicators. In addition, you must draw a neat and labeled diagram of chloroplast in your science diary. Are you ready? Thus, we learn about the different factors needed for photosynthesis and the structure of chloroplast also. Then we are going to study how do plants produce their food and oxygen during photosynthesis. You know, photosynthesis is not an easy process. It is completed through different reactions in different phases. പലതരം രാസപ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ പല ഘട്ടങ്ങളിലൂടെ കടന്നുപോയാണ് പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണം പൂർത്തിയാകുന്നത്. Photosynthesis is completed by two phases. They are light phase and dark phase. പ്രകാശഘട്ടവും ഇരുണ്ട ഘട്ടവും. The light phase takes place in grana of chloroplast. ഹരിതകണത്തിലെ ഗ്രാനയിൽ വെച്ചാണ് പ്രകാശഘട്ടം പൂർത്തിയാകുന്നത്. It is a light dependent phase because it requires light. Now we are going to study the chemical reactions takes place during light phase. First one, the conversion of light energy into chemical energy. This is the one of the important reaction takes place in light phase. You know, plants can absorb sunlight. They absorb sunlight in the form of light energy and they convert this light energy into chemical energy and stored in ATP molecule. So we can say that it is an energy formation process. Do you heard about ATP molecules? It is an energy bound molecule. ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. It is also known as energy currencies of cell. കോശങ്ങളിലെ ഊർജ്ജ നാണയങ്ങൾ എന്നും ATP തന്മാത്രകളെ വിശേഷിപ്പിക്കാറുണ്ട്. You know, organisms need energy for their life processes. All life processes together we called metabolic activities. ഉപാപചയ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ എന്നാണ് അറിയപ്പെടുന്നത്. It includes both building process and breaking up processes. നിർമ്മാണ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിലും വിഘടന പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളും ഉൾപ്പെടുന്നതാണ് ഉപാപചയ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, formation of glucose is a building process, but digestion is a breaking up process. For all these reactions, organisms need energy and they utilize energy from ATP. Here, energy is released as a result of breaking up of ATP into ADP and phosphate. ATP വിഘടിച്ച് ADPയും ഫോസ്ഫേറ്റുമായി മാറുമ്പോൾ സ്വതന്ത്രമാകുന്ന ഊർജം ഉപയോഗിച്ചാണ് ജീവജാലങ്ങൾ അവയുടെ ജീവപ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ പൂർത്തിയാകുന്നത്. So, in light phase, light energy is converted into chemical energy and it is stored in ATP molecules. So, ATP molecules are formed in light phase. Then, the water gets splits into hydrogen and oxygen. This is the second chemical reaction takes place in light phase. You know, plants absorb water from the soil. During light phase, it gets splits into hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen is released to the atmosphere and it is utilized by different organisms for their respiration, and the remaining hydrogen, it is transferred to stroma and it is used in second phase of photosynthesis. ജലം വിഘടിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന ഓക്സിജൻ അന്തരീക്ഷത്തിലേക്ക് സ്വതന്ത്രമാക്കപ്പെടുകയും ഹൈഡ്രജനെ സ്ട്രോമയിലേക്ക് കൈമാറ്റം ചെയ്യപ്പെടുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഈ ഹൈഡ്രജനെ പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണത്തിൻ്റെ രണ്ടാമത്തെ ഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഉപയോഗപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു. Is it clear? So, these are the two chemical reactions takes place during light phase. They are conversion of light energy into chemical energy and formation of ATP molecules, and second one, splitting up of water into hydrogen and oxygen. Then we go to study about dark phase. ഇരുണ്ട ഘട്ടം. It is a light independent phase. Here light is not used. It takes place in stroma of chloroplast. ഹരിതകണത്തിൻ്റെ സ്ട്രോമയിൽ വെച്ചാണ് ഇരുണ്ട ഘട്ടം പൂർത്തിയാകുന്നത്. Here plants produce glucose by combining hydrogen with carbon dioxide by utilizing the energy present in ATP molecules. You know, in light phase, water gets splits into hydrogen and oxygen and this hydrogen is transferred to stroma. Similarly, plants can absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So, plants can produce glucose by combining these hydrogen together with carbon dioxide with the help of energy present in ATP molecules. You know that in light phase, energy is formed. So, we call it as an energy forming process. But this energy formed in light phase is utilized in the second phase. So, we can say that dark phase is energy utilizing process. Is it clear? Can you compare the difference? Can you compare these phases? What's the difference between light phase and dark phase? What's about the location? Light phase takes place in grana of chloroplast, but dark phase takes place in stroma of chloroplast. What about the necessity of light? In light phase, light is used, but in dark phase, light is not used. In addition, you can say that in light phase, energy is formed, but in dark phase, energy is utilized. Please write down this in your science notebook. Okay? Let us observe the illustration that is given in your textbook. There are 5 indicators given in your textbook. They are about the location, action, products, necessity of life and ATP. Then we are going to discuss about first one about the location. Where these two phases takes place? Light phase takes place in grana, but dark phase takes place in stroma of chloroplast. Is it correct? Then second one, what about the actions? That means different chemical reactions takes place in these two phases. In light phase, there are 2 reactions. Here, water gets splits into hydrogen and oxygen. In addition, light energy is converted into chemical energy and stored in ATP molecules. These are the 2 chemical reactions takes place in light phase. But in dark phase, energy in ATP is used to combine hydrogen and carbon dioxide to produce glucose. ATP തന്മാത്രകളിലെ ഊർജ്ജം ഉപയോഗിച്ച് ഹൈഡ്രജനും കാർബൺ ഡൈ ഓക്സൈഡും കൂടി ചേരുകയും ഗ്ലൂക്കോസ് മോളിക്യൂളുകൾ ഉണ്ടാവുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. Then, what are the products that you get from these two phases? You know, in light phase, water gets splits into hydrogen and oxygen. So, these are the products in light phase. In addition, we know that energy is stored in ATP molecules. That is, ATP molecules also formed there. Thus, we can say that hydrogen, oxygen and ATP molecules formed in the light phase. But in dark phase, glucose is the product. It is produced by combining hydrogen and oxygen by utilizing the energy present in ATP molecule. Then, what about the necessity of life in these two phases? In light phase, light is used, but in dark phase, light is not used. The last one, it is about the ATP. You know, in light phase, light energy is converted into chemical energy and this energy is stored in ATP. Here, ATP is formed in light phase. But in dark phase, the ATP formed in light phase is utilized. So, we can say that it is an energy utilizing process. Is it clear? The cyclic chemical reactions takes place in dark phase is discovered by a scientist named as Melvin Calvin. So, this dark phase is also called as Calvin cycle. പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണത്തിൻ്റെ രണ്ടാമത്തെ ഘട്ടത്തെ ഇരുണ്ട ഘട്ടമെന്നും കാൽവിൻ ചക്രമെന്നും വിശേഷിപ്പിക്കപ്പെടുന്നു. Melvin Calvin is an American biochemist. He explained the various stages of the formation of glucose during photosynthesis. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1961 for his discovery. You know, the complex processes involved in photosynthesis was unfolded after long years of study and experimentation by many scientists. അതായത് പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണ പ്രക്രിയയുടെ ചുരുളഴിഞ്ഞത് നിരവധി ശാസ്ത്രജ്ഞന്മാരുടെ നീണ്ടകാലത്തെ അന്വേഷണങ്ങളുടെയും പരീക്ഷണങ്ങളുടെയും ഫലമായാണ്. Melvin Calvin explained the various stages of formation of glucose during photosynthesis. Similarly, another scientist, Joseph Priestley, proved that oxygen is formed as a result of photosynthesis. പ്രകാശ സംശ്ലേഷണ ഫലമായി ഓക്സിജൻ ഉണ്ടാകുന്നുവെന്ന് ജോസഫ് പ്രീസ്റ്റ്ലി എന്ന ശാസ്ത്രജ്ഞൻ കണ്ടെത്തി. You know that water gets splits into hydrogen and oxygen in light phase. It is discovered by another scientist, Van Niel. He proved that the source of oxygen involved during photosynthesis is water. These complex processes involved in photosynthesis is unfolded by a long years of study and experimentation by many scientists. Photosynthesis remains as an area of research even today. Can you collect more information about the scientists who made contributions in this area? If you can collect, prepare a science edition about the research activities in this area. Are you ready? Okay. From all these things, you know that photosynthesis is a complex chemical reaction. In a reaction, there is reactants and products. Which are the reactants and products in this photosynthesis? Yes, you know, the reactants are carbon dioxide and water. The products are glucose and oxygen. Can you write the equation of photosynthesis? So, we can write this as carbon dioxide plus water gives glucose and oxygen. You have already learned how to balance an equation. Then, write this equation in a balanced form. So, we can write this equation as 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6 O2. Once again, 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6 O2. Please write down this equation in your science diary. Before we going to wind up this session, can you recollect the main points that you have studied in this class? We studied about the different factors needed for photosynthesis. They are carbon dioxide, water and minerals, sunlight and chloroplast. Then you studied about the structure of chloroplast. You observed different parts like the membranes, the fluid-filled part that is stroma, the membranous sacs that is grana. And also you studied about the pigments like chlorophyll A, B, carotene and xanthophyll. Then we have discussed about different scientists like Melvin Galvin, Joseph Priestley and Van Niel who made contributions in this area. Then we have studied about the different phases of photosynthesis like light phase and dark phase. You also compared these two phases. You also learned to write the equation of photosynthesis. These are the main points we have already discussed in this session. ഇന്നത്തെ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പ്രധാനമായും ഇത്രയും ആശയങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മൾ ചർച്ച ചെയ്തത്. തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഹോംവർക്കുകൾ നോട്ട്ബുക്കിൽ വൃത്തിയായി എഴുതുക. നിങ്ങളുടെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന് അയച്ചു കൊടുക്കാൻ മറക്കരുത്. ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്ക് നന്നായി വായിക്കണം. അടുത്ത ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നമുക്ക് വീണ്ടും കാണാം. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.